Today we are talking about the front, the pecs, and 3 muscles that I'm going to show you how to release. Really simple, right? These days we're all doing stuff in front of us, driving the car, at the computer, on the phones. So chronically, a lot of us are going to end up in this forward rounded shoulder position. So even as a part of life, gravity, as we get older, gravity's pulling us down constantly. So if we're not staying strong at the back and open at the front, then we're losing that fight against gravity, right? So first one I'm going to talk to you about is the subclavius muscle. It's a little muscle that not a lot of people really know or appreciate or have an awareness of. So it's a little muscle that attaches to your first rib and sits under your collarbone. So you can find your collarbone there, right? It attaches into the first rib and underneath that collarbone there, right? So if you stick your fingers in, you can just stick 2 fingers in under that collarbone and trying to push up and in. So I'm trying to push up and in, right? And they'll give you a nice trigger point. It kind of makes you want to do this, which is like a protected position, right? So when you're here, okay, you can do a few things, right? Now, if this muscle is chronically just like locked on for you, then what this muscle does is actually pulls your collarbone down and forward. So it's actually going to be pulling your shoulder down and forward, right? So it's such a small muscle. It helps with breathing as well. So actually lifting up the ribs when you breathe in. This is one muscle that helps with that. So even while I'm talking to you, breathing is actually creating some sensations here for me. Moving my arm around is obviously also moving that muscle. So what I like to think about when I'm either trigger pointing or releasing a muscle, whatever it might be, is pin and then move. So I'm going to pin it and then I'll do something with my arm, whether it's like lifting it up. It's kind of a full big range of motion. I could actually come over here and use my pole and actually be having my arm stable, but then moving my body back and forth. Right? So I'm actually teaching from my hand being stable how to get my body moving around my scapula versus my scapula moving around my body. So once you've done that for a couple of minutes, retest, do like either a dislocate or a reach up over your head. Just like ideally when you reach over your head, you're trying to get your biceps to your ears and biceps behind your ears without your rib cage flaring open, right? So just be mindful of that when you test, right? The second thing we're going to dive into is the pec major. So this big pec muscle attaches to the sternum here, bottom of the rib cage, comes up and attaches to the inside of your humerus. Simple. Ball against either pole, door frame, wall, doesn't really matter what it is. I'm going to go where you can see me, so ball in the middle of my pec to start with, and you can explore all around it, right there, and then from there you can find a good spot, so you can move around a little bit, find a good spot, find when you got the most tension, and then from there I'm going to reach, and you can still see my scapula back here kind of like poking out. I actually want to reach even further as far as I can to get that pec full short range, and then pulling it back, trying to pull my shoulder blade back and down now. So I'm actually trying to lengthen that pec, right? So we want to go short, reach, pull back, lengthen, and reach. Right? And just those 2 movements, they're going to do amazing things for you. They're going to probably hurt quite a bit, but just be gentle to start with, right? I've got a hard ball here. You can always start with a soft kids ball even. I've got some of those as well that I usually start with for people, so it's not too intense. You can move your arm forwards and backwards like that. You can move your arm up overhead. You can move your arm out to the side. They're all going to change how the experience that you have through that pec. Right, so test and measure. Are you getting more freedom, more movement capacity through that shoulder? Yes, you are. All right, the third one. So subclavius number 1, pec major number 2, and now we're going to talk about the pec minor. Actually, I might keep you there. I was going to go against the wall, but this might be a little bit easier to see where I'm going here. I'm going to bring you in closer. If you're watching, give me a wave. Let me know what part of the world you're watching from. All right, so pec minor. I'm going to have my hand up. For me, it's the pole. For you, it could be the wall, could be a door frame again. Right? So, on my hand up on a 45-degree angle. Right? And then I want to twist my body or turn my body away from my hand. Right? So I'm actually going to be pulling my body forward. My hand will obviously stay where it is. You want to be mindful that you're not, as you open up, you're not rolling forward like that. Right? So that's an internal rotation of the humerus. We want to keep external rotation, then open up, and then what we're trying to do is expose, get underneath the pec major here. Right? Hey Dean, thanks for watching, mate. So under my pec major, so that's all pec major that I can actually grab with my fingers, right? Pec major, right? I want to get my fingers underneath that and on my rib cage more so, right? My fingertips underneath that and on my rib cage. And you're going to feel quite horrible, either your rib cage, and that's okay. But what you're kind of looking for is feeling a little bit of muscle there. It might be, if it's soft and malleable, that's good. You want that. If you find some lumps, like I've just found one in there, then you don't want that. You might feel quite dense. It might feel quite, I want to say gritty. Some people call it like sandpaper. Some people call it bubbly. Right? And what I'm doing is I'm just moving. So I've pinned that tissue. I've got like on my rib cage, but I can feel the muscle there. I've pinned that and I'm just pulling my arm away, or pulling my chest away from my arm. Breathing, important. Right? Just trying to teach that muscle that I want to get more length, more open, right? And then retest, test and retest. This arm goes further back. This one, oh, I have to try harder, but this one certainly goes further back. So if I'm trying hard, right? I hope they're not even, I can't see from the side, right? But there is 3 major contributors at the front of your chest to this rounded forward shoulder position, right? Have a go at those. Don't go too hard if it's your first time doing any of this sort of stuff. Be gentle, and let me know how you go. You can combine those 3 exercises with any of the other exercises that I've shown you over the weeks. Highly recommend combining a release with a movement that we've done. So